Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. My name is Brooke, and today I am doing a video. As you can tell by the title of this video, it's not going to be anything beauty related, but I am going to be touching on a video that I did about a year ago. I have gotten so much response from this video that I felt the need to do an update. And for those of you that want to know the full in-depth story and see the video, I'll link it down below, the original. And it's about the Michigan Black Panther. And I guess I'll jump into it a little bit. So a panther is not a specific kind of cat. It's basically a word we use for a large cat. And so there's not scientifically, when you say, there's no such thing as a black panther or a black cougar. Scientifically, you say a melanistic, I can't say it correctly. I don't think I'm saying it. A melanistic cougar or a melanistic panther, or black, which means a large black cat or a black cougar. Just wanted to get that out there because some people will be like, there's no such thing scientifically. Well, there is, but the scientific name is melanistic. So basically all that means is that a gene in its DNA where it produces dark coloring. So Black Panther sightings did not start until the 80s in Michigan, and it's southern Michigan, pretty much from Lansing down to the Ohio border is where these sightings have been. And there is a documentation online of a Michigan State Trooper being called out to a courthouse, which is in my hometown, and he did go on record saying that he's seen a Black Panther in front of the old courthouse building, and he did call DNR, and the cat disappeared into the woods or bushes, wherever, before DNR was able to get there. So there is documentation. It wasn't spotted by the DNR, well, that specific time. Back in 2015, around Thanksgiving time, I went back home, and I don't know if you guys, I'm originally from Michigan, but I live in Utah now. And when I was back home visiting, my grandfather said, "Hey, Brookie, did you see this?" And it was a newspaper article, and it was about how the Division of Wildlife had spotted over 28 sightings from Lansing all the way down to the Ohio border. They didn't specify if it was they thought it was the same Black Panther, but it was black cougar sightings. So I don't know if a lot of you know, but cougars can travel quite a long distance and navigate a lot of area. So anyways, that's where the sightings were. And these sightings didn't start till the 80s. I am an 80s baby. I was born in the mid 80s, and basically, like I said in my video, was my dad. He's a professional hunter. That's what he does for a living. He's pretty well known in the hunting industry. So the reason I'm saying this is because you go online and on YouTube you'll see like people seeing like domestic cats and saying it's a panther. Like, my dad knows well enough. I know well enough, being working in the forest industry and with wildlife. I know well enough, you know, the difference. My dad definitely does. So I'm just putting that out there just so you know he's a credible source. And we're both really good trackers. But anyways, so behind my house, we had a swing set, and my dad happened to be back there probably shooting bow, because that's what he would do. But he was looking around our swing set, and he noticed some very large cat prints that were not native to the area. And he went inside and he told my mom, "Hey, don't let the kids outside. There is some prints of a very large animal. It looks like it's a large cat. Definitely don't be letting the kids out. And if you have to let the dog out, be very careful. So my dad knew those paw prints were not something that should be there. So later, a state trooper knocked on our door, and he basically said that he was getting multiple calls and reports of people driving by our house and seeing a Black Panther in our backyard. And you know, if you get one of those, they probably would like think that's kind of weird. Well, they were getting so many that they had to come let us know. And my dad's like, yeah, I seen some big cat prints in the backyard, and you know, they went looking or did whatever they wanted to do. And while the officer was there, he said that there was a local resident who owned 6 of these black melanistic panthers and let them loose. And so in my original video, I thought it was a pair. I thought it was 2. And my dad corrected me. He said, no, it was actually 6. I don't know why I grew up my entire life thinking it was just 2 that was released. It was actually 6. So you imagine, and they never were caught. So there was 6 roaming, and that's a lot. That's a lot. So you have 6 of these things, all with that certain melanistic gene. They are bound to reproduce and reproduce, you know, offspring with that gene. So anyways, those were never caught. My dad later went on to have, it was down the street, right down from our house, there was like this little breakfast diner. My dad and his buddy went to go have breakfast one morning, and while they're having breakfast, they seen something from the corner of their eye, and they looked, and it was across the street, and they seen this Black Panther jumping up and pouncing down on something. And every time a car would drive by, it would like duck back down. So like, oh my gosh, like they both seen it. So they like hurried up and was going outside and was going to go check this thing out and probably call, you know, Division of Wildlife and go from there. But once they got out there, I don't know if they spooked it or what spooked it, but it was gone. And so my dad said the thing was huge. It was jet black. And yeah, it was gone before they could even get out there. And so my point of this, so, you know, being how these sightings started back in the 80s, I truly believe with all my heart, obviously cougars are not native to southern Michigan. It's not something that's naturally there. So they had to come from somewhere, and knowing that this guy released them, they got loose, 6 of these guys. Michigan, if you've never been to Michigan, Michigan has got a really big deer population, even a rabbit population. It's got a lot of woods, and it's got a lot of water. All of which make for a very healthy environment for these things to flourish and survive. The winters are harsh, but out here in the Rockies, we have very harsh winters, probably even harsher than back home. We get more snowfall, and they survive out here. So I can see why they would flourish in Michigan. So I definitely see them, you know, flourishing, mating, passing on that gene, and that's why there's still sightings today. That leads me to my next point. So I did that video, and I thought it was just going to be like a one-time video talking about this. Well, I got some comments on that video, but I have gotten so many emails. I think people are maybe scared to comment publicly because the amount of I didn't even get that many comments, maybe like 10 or so on that video, but the amount of emails, I get emails monthly, almost weekly for a year. And it's people thanking me, which is weird. I didn't expect not weird for them, but just weird because I didn't expect to have people emailing me about this. I thought people were like, oh, she's crazy. No, I've had people, and it's usually pretty much the same email where they're thanking me because they have been out driving and they see something like in the field, or they see something going across the street and it's a Black Panther and nobody believes them. So they get online and they start Googling or going on YouTube, and they found my video and they're like, thank you, because I was starting to think I was crazy. So a lot of people were finding the video that way. These sightings are happening. There was, I think the farthest north that someone reported to me was Pontiac, Michigan. For the most part, most of it was southern Michigan, but it was southwestern and southeastern Michigan, and some in Ohio. There was people in the county next to my hometown county. There was quite a few hunters that emailed me and even commented on that video that they seen him while they were hunting. So they're definitely out there, and I'm glad that my video could put some people to ease and no, you're not crazy. They're legitimately out there. I think it's one of the least talked about subjects in Michigan. It's pretty much the same storyline. It's always someone driving and they either see a Black Panther in the field or in the street, crossing the street in front of them, and they go and they tell their loved ones or their friends, and nobody believes them and they start to think they're crazy. So they get on Google or YouTube and they find my video. That's how they found my video, is to see, hey, is anybody else seeing this stuff? Am I crazy? And they're like thanking me, like, thank you for making this video. Now I know I'm not crazy. So it kind of took me by surprise to get that many emails, and I'm like, you know what? It's been a year and I have gotten so many emails. I really need to make an updated video. And also, you guys, I might, if I can remember, I'm going to link, because when I told people, they're like, do you have any documentation or information that I can share with people so that they believe me? I was always sending this link, and it's a link, it's a newspaper article, and it's about that state trooper who is on record seeing a Black Panther. So I can, if I remember, I'll try to link that down below. So in case you are a skeptic, or maybe you've seen one and you just want to show people some proof, like, hey, we have this state trooper on record, I'll try to remember to link that down below too. So it's crazy that there's so many sightings still, even to this day. And I appreciate all of you that have emailed me. I tell my dad about it too, because my dad, he loves hearing your guys' stories, and especially you hunters, because I think my dad would absolutely love, I think he's jealous, to be honest. I think he would love to be able to say that he was outdoors deer hunting or goose hunting or whatever and happened to come across a Black Panther. He hears your guys' stories and he's just like, no way. So yeah, I think he's kind of wishing that was him. But yeah, I tell him your guys' stories. I won't tell your guys' emails, because out of privacy for you guys, because I feel like because you emailed me, you want it private. Because a lot of the people that did, actually every person that emailed me was emailing me because they were glad that they found the video, and they were scared that people wasn't believing them, so they didn't comment publicly. So I think that you want this to be private, so I'm not going to share your guys' names or your towns or anything like that, out of respect and privacy, out of respect for your privacy. But thank you so much for trusting me with it, and for letting me know, for sharing your stories. I love hearing your guys' stories. Keep them coming. Whether people choose to believe it or not, Black Panthers do exist in Michigan. I was just talking to a friend on Facebook today, actually, because I was talking about how I was going to make another video, and he said that there has been sightings in Kentucky, but the one in Kentucky he knew for sure it was let loose by one of the owners, and the person let it loose because they couldn't afford to take care of it anymore, and it was a black one, and they let it loose. And I'm just thinking, why would you not like call a zoo or like a cat rescue? Like, there's big cat rescues in the area. Like, why would you just let it go? That's not nice to the animal either. I mean, the animal, I don't know, maybe it will adapt, but I mean, if it's getting fed, it doesn't know how to hunt. I mean, it might learn how to hunt, might not. I don't know. He said it was around for like 3 or 4 years. People would see it, and they haven't seen it since. But so, you know, there's stories all around. You never know what's lurking in your woods, and I love the woods. I don't say that to scare you, but always be aware when you're like out in nature, out in the wild. I mean, it's a good reminder just to always be on guard in the woods. My Instagram handle is Backwoods Barbie. You know, I love the woods, but it is something to be respected. Nature is to be respected. Wildlife is to be respected and kept wild. We are not the top of the food chain when we are out in the wild, especially out here in the Rockies. Yeah, I quickly learned that I am not top of the food chain out here. And living in Wyoming, there was all kinds of black bears, grizzlies, wolves, cougars, bobcats, wolverines. There's everything out there. But yeah, so yeah, I just wanted to do an update on this. I love hearing your guys' stories. So if you have more stories, keep them coming. Let me know your experiences, and who knows, maybe I'll do a third update to this. I'm just amazed that we're still getting sightings even to this year. And I truly believe that since this started in the 80s, the sightings and everything, and there were 6 of them loose, I really believe that my dad was at the beginning of all this. The ones that were out by our backyard, I really, truly, in my heart, like logically, it makes sense that they're just breeding and creating offspring, and that's what we're seeing. So pretty crazy. But that is all I have for today's video. If you guys have any questions about this, ask me down below. My social media is linked down below too. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. That way you can stay tuned for any more further updates on this topic. We are changing our upload days to Thursdays. We're going to try the Thursday schedule because Tuesday was very soon into the week. It was just not working for me, not working with my schedule. So we're going to try the Thursdays. And as always, thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care and God bless. Bye. Mwah. So like my last video, I wanted to share with you guys this little panther that I caught. Oh, she's being a little stinker. Come here. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Yes. She was 7 months old. Ruby. She's being a butt. All right. Peace out.